Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ikea. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. You are definitely a real one. So I have been gone from YouTube for maybe like a week and a half or so. I was sick, but I'm feeling much better now. And I am ready to share some content with you guys. It is spring and I am so happy that spring is here. Y'all know I have been talking about spring arriving for quite some time now. So now that spring is finally here, I am just leaping for joy. So today's video is all about spring. I'm going to be sharing fragrances that I will be wearing this spring. Now, I recently shared a video on transitional fragrances as we went from winter to spring, and I actually will still be wearing those fragrances as well, but this list is a little bit different. These are like exactly spring fragrances. They're light, they're airy, they're sweet, they're fun, and they give me all the spring vibes. So if you're interested in checking out my recommendations for spring fragrances, then keep on watching. And before we get started, be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, of course. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and do not forget to click on that notification bell so you do not miss out on a single video. So as I mentioned in the intro, I have a variety of fragrances that I want to share with you. These are all fragrances that give me spring vibes. So the first fragrance that I want to share is from Gucci, and this is Floral Gorgeous Gardenia. This is the EDP, and I have mentioned this a few times on my channel, but I absolutely love this fragrance. It's so fun and sweet. It's a beautiful, almost candied-like sweet floral fragrance. In here, there is gardenia. There's also a little bit of jasmine, pear, as well as brown sugar. It's absolutely beautiful. Like, honestly, I sometimes just walk by my perfume section and just smell this because it smells so good to me. If you're not into super sweet fragrances, I probably wouldn't recommend this one for you. But again, if you like something that's sweet, that's also a beautiful floral scent, it's fun, it's flirtatious, you can wear this any time of day and really for any occasion, then I would definitely recommend Gucci Floral Gorgeous Gardenia. So next is Bitter Peach from Tom Ford. This is a really beautiful, peachy, sweet, fruity fragrance. It's also a little boozy and also a little woody. I'll be honest though, when I first smelled this fragrance and I got my hands on a sample of it, I wasn't a huge fan of it. It actually had to grow on me. This definitely was not love at first sniff, but over time I really grew to love this fragrance, and I absolutely love pulling it out in the spring. I really actually don't really wear this other than the spring or the summertime. I don't really grab this in the wintertime. To me, this just gives me more spring and summer vibes. But in this fragrance, there is peach, of course, there's blood orange, some cardamom, a little patchouli, vanilla. There's also cognac and rum. Again, it's a little boozy and that peach does stand out. I always say that this reminds me of a sweet peach tea slush from Sonic if you added like a little soda to it. Like, it's kind of fizzy to me, but also it's a little woody as well. I'll be honest though, like I mentioned before, this is one of those fragrances that I've heard from the fragrance community that people either love or hate. But for me, I would probably say I would get a sample of this one before purchasing the full bottle because it's also really expensive. But I do think that this is a great fragrance, and I will definitely be wearing this in the spring. Next up, we have Wild Vanilla Orchid from Floral Street. This is such a beautiful fragrance, y'all. I feel like I talk about this one a lot on the channel as well, for every good reason. Like, if you want something that's fun, it's flirty, it gets you a ton of compliments, like this is a compliment getter, a showstopper, then this is the one that I would probably recommend for you. Wild Vanilla Orchid is kind of unexpected because to me, when I hear Wild Vanilla Orchid, I think of like a sweet vanillic fragrance, but that's actually not what this is. You definitely smell the vanilla, but it's more green. You can smell that patchouli in here. There's some jasmine in here. Of course, there's orchids as well. And of course, there's vanilla, but it's absolutely beautiful. But again, this is more green and it's more of a floral fragrance, but the vanilla does really kick in that dry down. And when I tell y'all, I get so many compliments on this fragrance right here. I wore this to a concert and people were stopping me and asking me what I was wearing. I wore this to the grocery store and people were asking me what I was wearing. Like, this is one of those fragrances that's like really much, very much a compliment getter, but it's very unexpected. It's kind of like an underdog. You don't see it coming, but once it gets there, once it arrives, it is there. So if you like a fragrance that maybe not too many people wear, or you want to smell a little unique and different, then I would definitely recommend Floral Street's Wild Vanilla Orchid, because it is everything. So I was perusing through Target one day and I was just in the beauty section like I always do when I go to Target, and I finally saw some new fragrances from Mix Bar, and I really love Mix Bar. Their vanilla bourbon fragrance is like chef's kiss, and I actually saw that they had 2 new scents, so I picked up both of them. But this one that I want to share for the spring is called Sparkling Hibiscus. Y'all, I sniffed this and I immediately was like, oh, this is coming home with me, but it's definitely giving me spring vibes. So in this fragrance, there's hibiscus, there's also some champagne in here, which is like the sparkling note. There's cardamom in here as well. I really like this fragrance a lot. It's actually really, really juicy. Like, of course I can smell the champagne in this fragrance, but it's not like super heavy. More of that hibiscus stands out, and again, it's really juicy. Now, if I had to compare this to a fragrance, I actually think this reminds me of Eden Juicy Apple from Kayali. For some reason, I'm getting that same vibe. Maybe not the similar scent, but like, you know how that fragrance is really juicy? That's what this is giving me as well. And maybe that's why I'm like, you know what, I gotta have my hands on this for the spring. But if you haven't checked out Mix Bar fragrances, I definitely recommend doing so. They're pretty affordable. I believe this was like $18.99 or $19.99. So to me, that's pretty affordable for fragrances, and they smell really, really good. So again, this is Sparkling Hibiscus from Mix Bar. And speaking of Kayali Eden Juicy Apple, the next fragrance that I will definitely be wearing this spring is none other than this beautiful juicy fragrance from Kayali. Now, when I did my review on this, or my initial first impression on this fragrance, I mentioned that I would prefer to wear this in warmer weather because this fragrance is very light, it's very fruity, it's very juicy, and it doesn't really give me winter and fall kind of vibes. So now that spring is here, I feel like I can really truly enjoy this scent. And actually, I've been reaching for this quite often since we've gone into warmer weather, and it does smell really, really good. It's absolutely juicy. To me, this is a great fragrance if you're a young adult and you're getting into fragrances. It's not super mature, but it's also not super immature either. I feel like this is a great fragrance for the masses. Again, it's very, very juicy. There's this beautiful juicy apple note in the opening. There's some jasmine in here, some vanilla, some musk, and I love it. And I feel like, again, it's really going to shine in the spring and in the summertime. Now, a lot of people layer this fragrance, and I have layered it. I actually layered this with Vanilla 28, and then I also layered it with Deja Vu White Flower from Kayali. I actually like the pair layering it with Deja Vu White Flower because that floral note kind of stands out a little bit, and it again gives me more spring summer vibes. But this fragrance is good on its own. It's great as a layering fragrance, and I cannot wait to continue drenching myself in Eden Juicy Apple from Kayali. So this fragrance right here is for my vanilla lovers. I actually get a ton of questions on Instagram and on TikTok about fruity vanilla scents, and this fragrance from Montal, which is called Sweet Vanilla, is like the perfect fruity vanilla fragrance. There's apricot in here, there's vanilla in here, and it's absolutely beautiful. When I think of vanilla, I think of like sweet, warm vanilla. This is the complete opposite. It's a sweet, fruity vanilla scent. It's really, really beautiful. Now, this fragrance is beast mode. So if you want everybody to smell you, you want people to know that you have arrived and that you have entered the building, then this is a great fragrance. I find that with most Montal fragrances, the projection and the sillage is like beast mode. You get a big whiff of it and you can honestly smell the fragrance from a mile away. So this is really no different than some of the other Montal fragrances that I have. It is beast mode. Now, I would not recommend overspraying this because I tried that one time and I gave myself a headache. It was just like way too much. But again, if you want a fragrance that's long lasting, that projects and that is really beast mode, but it's fruity and it's got a vanilla vibe to it, then I would definitely recommend Montal's Sweet Vanilla. So this next fragrance is from Way, and this is called North Bondi. I had just been perusing through Ulta one day, and I had noticed that my Ulta finally had the Way fragrances in the store. So I actually own Dean Street, and I actually really love that fragrance. And I wanted to check out more fragrances from Way. And I've been hearing great things about North Bondi. They actually had it in my store, so I decided to pick it up. This is a beautiful, fresh citrus fragrance. It's got a little bit of floral notes as well. This actually kind of reminds me of a similar vibe as like Bal d'Afrique from Byredo. Very fresh and clean, but also more of a citrus scent. In here, there's lemon. There's also some bergamot in here. There's a little bit of rose, jasmine, sandalwood, and patchouli. This is a great everyday fragrance. This is more like if you want to smell like you just kind of came out of the shower kind of scent. It's again very fresh, very clean, and so beautiful. So if you like fragrances that aren't like super heavy, that don't really do too much, but they're great everyday scents, I would definitely recommend North Bondi from Way. I have been wearing this during the day as I'm working, or even if I go and like work out, and I absolutely love this fragrance. Now I will say the projection of this fragrance is pretty moderate. I'll probably get about up to 4 hours of wear of this fragrance before it becomes a skin scent, which for me that's okay because this isn't like a loud fragrance and I don't necessarily need for it to like project very loudly or even be like a strong, long-lasting scent. But if that is something that you are interested in, or even if you want to know more information, for me, it lasts about 4 hours on my skin. But again, this is North Bondi from Way. So this next fragrance that I want to share is from Carolina Herrera, and this is Very Good Girl. Now, a lot of people compare this fragrance to Delina from Parfums de Marly, and I'll be honest, I actually do think that this is pretty comparable. I think it's the lychee in here that makes it very similar. So in this fragrance, there is lychee, there's red currant, there's a little bit of rose, vanilla, and vetiver. Now, I am a huge fan of vetiver, and I understand that a lot of people, or not necessarily a lot of people, but there are people who are not a huge fan of vetiver. It's one of those notes where like you either love it or you hate it. There's not much in between with vetiver, but in this fragrance I will definitely say that like I don't really smell a ton of the vetiver in here. To me, I get more of the lychee, more of that vanilla, and a little bit of that red currant. But again, this does give me similar vibes to Delina. I wouldn't necessarily say Delina exclusive because that one's a little bit more creamy, but this is like a tarty, sweet floral fragrance. I actually think this is really beautiful, and again, I'll probably be wearing this all spring and all summer because it's absolutely gorgeous. This is my favorite fragrance from Carolina Herrera. I'm not a huge fan of the original, which is Good Girl, but this flanker is absolutely beautiful. So if you like fruity floral fragrances that also kind of give you similar vibes to Delina, they're a little tardy, then I would definitely recommend Very Good Girl. This next fragrance, I feel like I share on my channel quite a bit as well, for good reason though. This is Voja Viva from Valentino. I'm a huge Valentino fan. I feel like Valentino has some really great fragrances, and this is no different. It's absolutely beautiful. This is a beautiful white floral fragrance, and it's also a little citrus as well. So there's mandarin orange in here, bergamot, there's some gardenia in here, there's also a little bit of vanilla, sandalwood. I love Voja Viva. So I'll be honest, Voja Viva isn't the most groundbreaking fragrance that I've ever smelled. It's not super unique, but I still really enjoy this, and I really like it because it's just a nice, soft, everyday fragrance. It doesn't do too much. It's not over the top. And every now and then, I do want a fragrance that's just like kind of subtle. And that's kind of what this is. You do get compliments on it. Well, I've received compliments on it. And I feel like people can still smell it on me. However, it's just not like super powerful, super deep, and like one of those really sensual scents. It's just a great everyday fragrance for almost any occasion. So this next fragrance is actually new to this channel. It's a fairly new fragrance in my collection, and this is from the brand Brown Girl Jane. It's actually a Black owned brand, and of course I had to support because of course it's a Black owned brand. But I wanted to shout out to one of my followers on here because she actually recommended that I try these fragrances out, and I want to say thank you because I absolutely love them. This is a part of a trio. They actually have 3 different fragrances, and the one that I'm going to be wearing quite a bit in the spring and the summer is Casablanca. I think that this one is probably the most popular one, but in this fragrance there is marshmallow, there's a little bit of suede, there's some cardamom, there's some jasmine in here. It's a really beautiful scent, and it's actually pretty unique to me, and I feel like it's really going to stand out in the spring and in the summertime. To me, I feel like this is a great nighttime scent, but you can probably get away with wearing it during the day as well. It's not like super deep. So that's why I say you could probably wear it really any time, but this is so beautiful. I have been wearing this non-stop, honestly, since I purchased it, and I cannot wait to continue wearing it. So if you want to check out Brown Girl Jane fragrances, they are available on their website as well as Nordstrom. So I'll be able to link those in the description box for you in case you're interested. And this last fragrance that I want to share that I am going to be drinking myself in this spring and summer, and I don't care what anybody says, is Delina exclusive. The reason why I said I don't care what anybody says is because a lot of people say that this fragrance is really great for the winter time, but I don't care, okay? Fragrance is personal, and you wear whatever you want whenever you want. And this fragrance is going to be on my body in the spring, in the summer, in the winter, and in the fall, all year around. I love Delina exclusive. I love the creaminess about it. I love how sweet it is. And I always say that this fragrance is for a well-rounded person, okay? This fragrance reminds me of somebody that just has it going on. They got their life together. They're very balanced, but then they know how to have fun, you know? They're a boss, but they know how to have fun. That's what I think of when I think of Delina exclusive, or maybe that's how I feel when I wear it. But this is an absolutely beautiful floral fragrance. It has peony, lychee, pear. There is a little bit of oud in this fragrance, some incense, vanilla. This is such a complex fragrance, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And there's rose in here. So if you have not tried out Delina exclusive, but you've been interested in it, I definitely recommend it. It's actually one of my top favorite fragrances. If I had to choose fragrances for life, this would be on the list because it is perfection, okay? Chef's kiss. It is so beautiful. I love Delina exclusive. So I will be drenching myself in this all year round, but specifically in the spring. All right, y'all. So those were the fragrances that I'm going to be wearing this spring that I will be recommending to you all. Of course, I have a ton of other fragrances in my collection that also give me spring vibes, but these ones are probably going to be among the favorites this year. Comment down below though and let me know, what are you wearing this spring? Y'all know I'm nosy, but I also just want to know, I'm very curious to know what you guys are planning on wearing, what y'all are going to be smelling like, because I already know everybody is about to be smelling really good, okay? I already know, I feel it. But I thank y'all so much for watching this video. Be sure to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed, of course. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. I will link all of the fragrances mentioned in this video down in the description box below. I'll also link my social media handles, my Instagram, my TikTok, my Twitter, all down in the description box below as well. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope y'all have a great one, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.